Shut up and sit down.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Nerdsplaining Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Da Silva. With me as always is my co-host, Jose Romero.
Greetings, salutations, nerds around the world. Back at it again. Hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving. We're heading right knee deep into the next grouping of holidays, whatever you guys practice, and some cool effects that Eric is throwing. I kind of like it.
I got a new phone. I got a new camera, guys. So this is all
playing around.
new.
It's news to me. But we're early.
This is our budget's increased.
Early Christmas gifts. Speaking of holidays, so good for you.
Production's all going crazy.
I said, man, what? 21st century here. I think I love technology. But actually, it's funny because now for those who were TikTok addicts, had the issue with the whole trying to ban TikTok or whatever because the owner,
right.
The court upheld that today.
Oh, really?
So it's like the ban. They're gonna impose that ban until China sells it off or whatever the case is. So I'm just saying, any influencers or whatever,
blue sky it is.
Go somewhere else. You got other avenues with YouTube or whatever. But I was like, ooh man.
Time to get on Threads.
Time to do something, X or whatever it is. But yeah, so I kind of saw it because I know the movie industry uses that for a lot of advertising and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it does affect them too. So I always thought that was kind of interesting. But we got some cool stuff today. We got a little Marvel news. We got some DC. We got 2 shows to talk about.
Boom.
2 shows. One of which I am
very different shows.
Very different show. One I'm bursting at the seams to talk about. So I want to start with that. This show, we have to start here. Usually we save the best for last, but I figured let's change things up and let's start with the best first, right? So
Skeleton Crew.
Yes, the best show I've seen. I don't want to overstate that. I want to go overboard, but in at least
Clearly,
I said the last 10 years that I've seen. Just
better than Penguin.
Better than anything I've seen the last 10 years, shows or movies. This is peak. Kathleen Kennedy, peak Star Wars at the height of its power. Better than Empire Strikes Back, dare I say. And that's a bold statement.
Well, that's clearly.
But it's just showed that everybody, if you're not a Star Wars fan, you should watch. If you're a Star Wars fan, you should watch. If you don't watch TV, just watch this show. It might get into watching TV because of it. Fantastic 2 episodes dropping Disney Plus. I never thought I'd be here today saying this about a Star Wars property, but I can't be happy they said this show exceeded my wildest expectations.
Kathleen Kennedy, feel free to retire. Your legacy is locked.
This is like for the football fan, John Elway winning the Super Bowl, retiring, or Jordan the first time with this shot. This is where she can walk out into that sunset, held up high, knowing she gave the fans finally what they've been craving for years since she stepped in.
Space Goonies, yes.
So Eric, those are my thoughts. What'd you think about Skeleton Crew?
Believe it or not as great as yours.
Fair. Opinions were different.
Fun. I enjoyed the world building of it all. I mean, listen, we've seen ice planets, we've seen snow planets, we've seen planets in entire cities. We got to see Star Wars suburbs, and we got to see Star Wars suburbs. I'm like, oh, look at that! This is where aliens go when they don't want to hang out with certain kind of aliens.
That's funny because that was really. I didn't have any gripes in the show, but if I were to have a gripe, that would be one of my only gripe was that was the suburb location. To be honest with you, no, listen, obviously, yeah. Oh, no, serious. I did actually, jokes aside, did enjoy the show. I did enjoy the show.
Yeah, it was fun. It wasn't amazing.
No, it's not. It's not life changing. Oh my god! But
right. And here's the thing: as a Star Wars fan, we've either gotten great or garbage, and that's really it. I mean, for every Andor and Mando season 1 and 2, and I'll stick with 3, and I'll put it in there as well. You have like a Book of Boba. And you're just like,
yeah, or Obi-Wan,
and then
or Ahsoka,
or Obi-Wan, and then our palates are so grossed out by the missed opportunities. When we get to watch a decent show, it's almost like Ahsoka, really? It's a decent show, but we're so like, this was so bad that it doesn't let us appreciate. And I feel that Skeleton Crew was a little bit better than okay, which allows it automatically defaults to that fun aspect. Like, this is this is good Star Wars.
Yeah.
I
mean, it's
like
definitely
this.
leans into more the younger crowd. So not my cup of tea, but that doesn't make it
Right,
bad because of it. It's just not my cup
right,
of tea.
sure.
But it's told from the perspective of the kids, right? They always said it's an ambient like kind of homage or whatever, Goonies and all those old school 80s
Ambien,
things.
Ambien is a
Ambient,
medicine.
Ambient. I'm sorry. Yeah, close enough. Ambient, Alien.
I would love to see a Star Wars show that felt like you're an Ambien. Oh man,
That
the
movie.
nightmare fuel that you're gonna have on that
No,
is
that's a show
amazing.
I'm interested in.
That's
That
a
could be
show.
Kathleen Kennedy's swan song.
There you go.
But Ambulance, sorry. It felt very much like that. It was cool. Second episode was kind of short, but whatever.
Yeah, way short. First of all, I was surprised how long the first episode was.
Yeah.
That I noticed how not same
Yeah,
size.
it was like
was the
25
second
minutes, and I'm not sure if that's going to be going forward. We'll find out soon enough, but I think it's going to
Right.
be short. But whatever, it's more of a kid's show, so I guess I can let it go. It's fun. It's fun. It's entertaining. It is what it is. And again, it's not.
I thought the show did a really smart. It used its production value smartly. Like when they were on the volume,
Oof.
it was used appropriate. Like because you didn't have these massive expanses. You were like in a pirate satellite station,
Sure.
so you could make that work. What looked better? Skeleton Crew or Obi-Wan?
No, this looked better, of course. And
That's what I'm saying. And they were smart about how to make it work.
It didn't look great, but I mean, again, this didn't have the budget.
Right.
That what was the last show I did not like? What we had issues with?
Ahsoka?
No, the one after.
Or the Acolyte.
Yeah, which had a tremendous budget and that was wasted.
Huge budget, and it
this
was
didn't have
very
the
hit or
budget
miss.
to be fair, and again, it's a TV show, so you got lower expectations, so I get that.
Yeah.
The summer scene for me was weird. It just felt. It didn't feel Star Wars. It's like Star Wars always. It takes you somewhere, and there's it's just too familiar to Earth, and I didn't dig that.
I actually liked it because I was like, oh, this is cool. We've seen so much crazy stuff. We've never seen a space version of the 80s.
And it's too familiar to what it'd be on Earth per se.
I kind of liked it.
I kind of liked
it.
It's weird.
But here's the thing. Visually, was it familiar? Yes, but there were these little. When you saw that society function, you're like, there's something weird about this society. Yeah. And it would, to me, I didn't pick up real fast about there's a lot of droids here telling what to do. I was like, okay, just droids. Mm-hmm. It's all the thing. When they got to the part of that episode, they're like, you got to take your test to figure out what you're going to do in life. I was like, that's weird. What kind of society makes you do that? Because the ones I think of are not great societies. So what's going on in this planet? And then when they get off the planet, they realize no one knows where the planet is. I was like, that's cool. Now you're deepening your own little lore in the Star Wars.
That I like. So
right.
Yeah. I mean, listen, this show could fall apart. We've seen it before.
Oh,
so
clearly.
Whatever. And
I've been hurt before. You've been hurt.
Of course.
Before,
so grain of salt. We'll keep watching. It's solid show. It is funny, and I don't know what to make of this. At the very end, we finally got introduced to Jude Law, right? Who's, I guess, a Jedi or whatever.
Which, technically, you may have seen him in the beginning. Well, I think he was a pirate with the helmet.
Maybe. I don't know. Possibly, right?
Sure.
So he's, in prison, and the kids are in prison at the end. And he's going to save them. And, he pulls the key to open. Couldn't he have done that before the kids got there? It was kind of weird. I didn't quite...
I feel he's as much a Jedi as Camille Nanjiani is a Jedi. I think it's all a ruse.
He used the Force powers either way.
I think he used magnets. The keys just weren't there.
If that's the case,
and that's what I'm saying. I think he's doing sort of what he did.
If that's the case, I'll forgive it. But I'm not going to kill the show for it. But it was kind of odd. The keys, right? I mean, it was weird. It was awkward. I'm like,
absolutely. But
okay, let's see.
Speaking of the whole key situation, I giggled to myself in that dumb kid optimism, we'll just tell this rat what to do, and they'll do it. I'm like, yeah, go for it. See what happens.
Whatever. I mean, there's stuff like that, but listen, it's.
But that was great. I loved it. It was so much fun.
It's part of the fun and the charm the show has. So listen, it's cool. I hope it gets better. I hope it doesn't tank. But listen, so far so good, right? I mean, listen, we take what we can get for Star
Absolutely.
All right. I mean, it's a win. It's not like, oh my god, a great win, but it's a win.
Listen,
it's fine.
when you're hungry, you'll eat rotten crackers. But if you just eat plain crackers, it's the best of the world.
Of course,
that's all. Because it's not rotten. I'll take it.
And I know it's not a ring endorsement for the show, but it is a reality. But listen, it's cool. It's a fun show. It's great for the family. You got kids.
Absolutely.
I think the kids will probably,
especially for the Christmas holiday season. This is the kind of stuff you can tune into, and everyone have a good time.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think this is tailor made more for a younger audience, and that's okay.
Absolutely.
And that's okay.
Absolutely.
Just want to some with the little MCU. Let's go to MCU first before we're gonna end with DC. Obviously, the other show we'll talk about in a minute.
Sure.
This is a small thing. I saw this article, Daredevil, which I know you're incredibly excited for. I'm cautiously optimistic for, and
I make magic happen.
It is make magic happen. That's a new Daredevil intro, by the way. But yeah, so I guess they're talking about Daredevil. You saw it here first, folks. Talking about a scoop. They mentioned, I guess, the timeline when the show is going to take place. We finally know when is the show taking place, as in relation to the MCU or whatever the case is. For the most part. And they said that's going to be this event takes place 5 years from season 3 of Daredevil.
Oh wow!
So it's a little bit of a time jump, which may
it's kind of the blip. It's the blip.
I don't. From what I read, is that not one of those that they just appear. It just not everyone got blipped or whatever. This is it's in 5 years, right? I mean, well, part of it could be blip, whatever. But it may explain why, like Foggy and what's her face. I don't think Karen. I don't think they could be in the show. I don't remember seeing them.
They are going to be in the show. They weren't originally. Now they are.
Okay, but for like a short one episode. Or
who knows? There's no real confirmation how long they're going to be
short, but whatever. But yeah, so 5 years. That's interesting. Kingpin's still around after 5 years. Obviously, Daredevil can't do his job right. Fair enough.
Right.
He was busy fighting, Echo, whatever the hell's going on with that crap. But yeah, so that's interesting. I mean, yeah, what do you make? I mean, that's kind of cool, right? Because it helps.
I mean,
put some time between the two seasons, those two seasons.
It allows 5 years. What's good about 5 years is it allows a little bit of growth. There's some stuff that when it happens, we can still be surprised. Like, when did that happen? No, it happened in the 5 years. So, like, okay, that's kind of that kind of space where you're not 5 years doesn't like age you out. Like, oh, now he's getting too old to do this. But you could acquire more skills.
It's funny because they talked to the guy who played Bullseye in the original Netflix series, who's also going to be in this one. And because they talked about the time I think he was part of the conversation of why they found out it was 5 years after. And he said one of the reasons why he did it is because they look older, so they had to put 5 years ahead just to make timeline seem that makes sense because Ian John Bernthal is a little older. It is what it is. What year was it Netflix? I don't remember. Was it 2018?
I think 2017 or 18 was the last year that it aired.
So I'm kind of curious where this falls in the timeline of the MCU, right? Like I assume it's the blip happened just like anything else. I don't know because they don't really say.
Well, if you think of it this way. Season 1 of Daredevil happened after the first Avengers.
Correct.
Season 2 of Daredevil happened after Sokovia Accords, Civil War.
Did they mention that? I don't remember, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because they were talking about I think it was affecting Jessica Jones about what powers and everything like that and registration. They talked about it. And then Season 3 happens like right after the Defenders. So we're talking about maybe a year and a half after Civil War was Daredevil season 3.
So this will put him. This actually puts him with, technically speaking, I know, and we're just guessing, we don't know, but within the blip, because blip is 5 years,
right?
And the last season was at least a year before the blip, right? More or less, maybe
something like that. Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of curious to where that fits in that timeline. Like,
right, but also you got to remember because of Echo, which is the only thing. The only time we're going to mention. The good thing about Echo. The good thing about Echo is it establishes that Kingpin and Daredevil did not get blipped.
Correct, right, like I said, right. So
that's the only thing that show does is it establishes these two guys hung around.
Yeah. So,
everything else.
Well, obviously, well, they're still in the blip.
Well, Hawkeye did it too. Hawkeye lets you know that Kingpin was around, but everything else was on the table.
Well, I guess every character, no one got blipped because if they're still. By our calculations, that could be completely off. Right. They're still within that blip, so
maybe it was just Foggy and Karen that got blipped. Yeah, maybe that was
maybe they come back towards the end of the show. The show goes into after. I don't know. I'm kind of curious how they're gonna play that.
Sure.
Because this is obviously, I assume, is gonna fit into the bigger picture of the MCU. I'm only guessing.
Right.
I mean, natural thought to think that, but yeah. So that's interesting. So I kind of like that. But this comes out in March. It's coming sooner and sooner. I am waiting for the first full trailer. I think we both are to see
very much
get
so.
that tone, and let's see if it's
I've seen all the leaked
or if it's
footage.
Daredevil.
I want to see
I want to see something.
authentic. Yeah.
Exactly, some good, some good, and more better context that we've seen before anyway.
Absolutely.
So I'm looking forward to that. Speaking of Disney Plus, we'll stay with that as far as MCU shows. So the announcement was made, or a rumor, I guess, a rephrase, about the Young Avengers, which is something that people have been saying is going to come out or whatever, and had a little tease at the end of I don't know what it was the Marvels, I think it was.
Yes, the Marvels. No, it was the Ant-Man and the Wasp.
No, I thought
it was the Marvels.
Yeah,
it was the Marvels. Yes,
Ms. Marvel was talking to. She's
yes,
highly
you're right.
character, whatever.
Yeah.
So it's been teased or whatever the case is. I just assumed they would not do it at all. It just didn't make sense. But
if you watch Agatha, they put a new Young Avenger on the board. So
and nobody cares.
I care.
These Avengers, it's just, but they're not going to call it Young Avengers anymore. So they're taking that off the table. They're going to call it Champions.
Okay.
They're going to call it Champions.
The Champions.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
Probably because Young Avengers actually means that they have to be young, and most of them in the 20s.
Yes, and they're all going to be like early 20s by this point.
It's a little off at that point, right? So
sure,
fine.
By the way, little Nerdsplaining at this one. Miss Marvel was a champion. Also, Sam Alexander Nova was a champion. Also, Miles Morales was a champion.
Yeah, I heard of that. I've heard of that. But I saw. I don't know how true this is. Like who they plan to bring in for them. A couple of names I didn't recognize. Hulkling was it Hulk's?
Hulkling, yes. Well, that is Wiccan's boyfriend,
right,
who also eventually becomes the king prince of the Shi'ar Skrull Empire. Gotcha. He merges the empires together.
I heard that name to someone else. It begins with a V.
Patriot?
No, like Visions. Doesn't Vision have like a?
Oh, Viz, which is Vision's daughter.
Yeah, something like that. I'm not sure there's any.
She's a cyborg. She's an android cyborg.
I'm not sure if that part of it's true. I don't. That's just what I heard.
Right. Well, in the comic, yes.
But correct.
There
in the
is
comics,
a Vision Quest series, so they may be bringing her in.
That's what I'm saying. It will coincide with that. So I don't know.
Right.
I guess depends on the timeline, because I would assume they have to release Vision before this show comes out. I guess.
Yeah, clearly.
I guess. So they said 2025. I think not. I doubt that's gonna come on.
2025?
That's not happening.
We just saw that trailer. It's like 18 shows. I don't. There's no way to slot that in.
This is not one of them.
It's got to be 2026
at the
least.
Earliest. But I mean, whatever. I mean, this is what I didn't care about, and I just curious. Again, can we get real Avengers before we get this version of nonsense that they're giving us? That's what I want, and we don't even have that yet. So I don't know. It's
right.
Odd. I think it seems like to me the focus should be on something else, and they keep focusing on this little stuff that really is inconsequential.
Well, I feel like because I take it the other way. They are focused on this one thing, but all the other departments have to show like they're doing something too, because all the money is going to Spider-Man and then Doomsday and then Secret Wars, and that's it. That's where all the attention is. So how do you keep that supplemented with TV? Because if everyone's focusing here, you got to do some TV stuff, because you're not going to do any movies for that slot.
The TV just seems now like it's secondary now, almost like, well, fine, it's a show. But whatever. I mean, let's see. I mean, again, it's a strong rumor. Like it hasn't been confirmed fully yet.
Sure.
But all signs point to it being, it's gonna be a go at some point. But that could all change. We all know things change. Based on reactions. Or whatever.
Also Ironheart was a champion.
She was on the list that I saw, but that doesn't mean that she's not going to be in it. But Ironheart, we know that's coming out, but she may be
clearly, and that's what I'm saying. If Ironheart's already there,
she may be a champion.
You're already on track, right?
Maybe a champion, I guess. What are we going to call it? It will make sense, but let's see. Maybe they'll wait to see how that does before they move forward or anything. That's great.
Oh, awesome. And also in the rebooted Champions and Fisher Miles Morales, and this might be connected to what Feige said in the Champions comic book, a time displaced 17-year-old Cyclops was on the Champions. So if you talked about you're going to start seeing X-Men around, they may introduce Cyclops in the Champions first and then make them pivot towards the X-Men. So that might be a soft intro on Cyclops.
That's weird, but that's not a few years from now.
It's just comic books. That's what happened in the comics.
I said that's separate. If Feige's bring that in, I'm not sure if I like that idea. Just bring in the X-Men. It's just, like I said, can we just bring in the X-Men? Not fuck around with this nonsense. And it's.
I mean, I think it's their version of doing an Iron Man movie, a Capt movie, a Thor movie, then an Avengers movie. You're just sort of slotting them to go, oh look, now they're all coming together.
The last thing I want is to see an X-Men debut in the show. Let's put them on the big screen.
I agree,
just do.
But I don't mind, because there's so many X-Men. I don't mind. It's not the whole series be about them, but I don't mind them like introducing for like an episode or two, and then they bounce out. But now they're on the radar, so when they show up, like, oh, cool, I saw them in that thing. That's how the TV series should have been doing from the first place, instead of just doing movies chopped up into segments.
Nonsense. Yeah, exactly. So we'll see. But let's say we'll see. But let's go back to the films, because this is worth a nice discussion here. This is the biggest thing that I saw. So Captain 4, which is coming out in about 2 months. Yeah, maybe. February. I think it's like a February. It's a Valentine's Day movie.
February. It's a February.
Yeah,
it's a February. So like
15th.
3 months. 2, 3. Yeah.
Well, fine. Fair enough. 3 months. Well, the middle of February, so almost 2 months. Whatever. Doesn't matter.
Sure.
Soon enough. So anyway. So I guess they are doing some more reshoots. Again.
I heard about that. Yeah.
And reshoots are normal. Every big film does them. This one had several.
This movie though had like 18 reshoots.
I don't know how many. I lost count. Maybe more reshoots than what was originally filmed in the first place. But it's rare.
This movie now is the budget of Endgame.
Oh, this budget! I heard the budget is like 400 something. This is losing money. It's guaranteed losing money. It's not even.
Oh my god!
With marketing, this is above 500. It's not making any money. It's just put it out there. It is what it is.
It'll be if it breaks even. It'll be a miracle.
To break even, it has to be close to $1 billion. That movie's not sniffing $1 billion.
All right, so it's losing money. It's gonna lose money.
But whatever, it is what it is.
It's gonna take it on the chin as the last horrible reminder. It's like that dent you have in a car that goes, "That's why I stopped drinking." That's what Captain America's gonna be.
Because it's rare to hear it reshoots this close to the film's release.
That's what I'm saying.
I know Thunderbolts is also going back to reshoots, but that has more time and whatever.
Right. They're like a summer movie,
but
right?
These are even more reshoots. So again, that's concerning, but whatever. But the catalyst of all this, and from what I understood, is that there was more test screenings done. And they were not good. So which led to these next set of reshoots. This movie is in trouble, dude. It really is, because we heard bad test screenings, rumors or whatever months ago, a long time ago, right?
Sure.
There's all kinds of issues. They shoot 80% over again. It's like a Han Solo kind of deal, right? Right. And now another round of test screenings, and those didn't work apparently. Dude, this movie is doomed. Reshoots won't fix the film. It doesn't. Not to this degree. It may change a couple of things, but man, this movie is going. You
think maybe they got to the point like, listen, we're not going to save this movie,
we're
going to have to lay so many Easter eggs at this movie for the future payoff that people are going to be like, fuck, now I got to watch this because I need to know the thing. Maybe that's it.
If it was like a minor reshoot, I heard it's a big reshoot, so I just think they're really trying to make something out of this film. And we've seen this thing happen before. It never works out. It never works out, right? It is what it is, and dude, this movie's headed for a disaster. If this is all true, right? Maybe it's all bullshit. I don't know. The reshoots are legit, but these test reactions and now leading to more reshoots. Dude, this is gonna be a disaster. And with the price tag, this is gonna be. It's maybe one of the biggest bombs I've ever had.
Jose, I'm making the call now. I'm gonna watch this movie severely intoxicated. I'm going to will a good experience out of this movie, whether the universe wants to or not.
This could be, man, I'm going to go that far. It's extreme. But you're talking about, duking it out with Man Web kind of bad. I mean, it's very possible.
I don't know if it's going to be that bad, but I definitely feel like everyone should microdose.
I mean, I think
there's going to be a joy.
This could be worse
when you go watch it.
We expect more of the MCU, obviously, than Sony.
Yeah.
But this could be worse because I don't think Man Web was done. They put it out there as crap. We know that. This movie could end up being crap after several attempts to uncrap it, and it's still couldn't get it right. That's even worse. Right?
That's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt.
Man, I don't know, man. This all signs point to disaster. It really does, and hopefully it's not. Hopefully it's not.
Listen. Like I told you, sometimes you need a scar to remember not to go that far.
Right. I mean,
this may be the scar,
and ultimately, what we talked about, right? Nothing really starts here until Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
let's be honest, right?
Which, by the way, has finished on time. Yes. Everyone is super excited about the project. Exactly. We just got to get through this last Captain America. Unfortunately, I love Howard Maggie, but I really feel like it's like the last 10 pounds you got to lose.
Yeah,
before you
you're
know
right.
it's just you gotta
It
have
really is,
so
yeah. So I got a bad feeling. So who has high expectations, curb him for a little bit, right? Do the Eric plan, go in there, intoxicated in whatever method you like to be intoxicated, would be alcohol, a little, depends where you live, or medicinal purposes, go ahead.
sure, of
But
course.
yeah, because man, it sucks because I want to go into positive. It's just hard, man. It's hard to go into like this is gonna be good. I can't believe that anymore. It's like watching a Star Wars show. Maybe we surprised that skeleton crew. But this, man, this is a man. This is gonna be bad. I got that train wreck. I gotta think this may be the biggest train wreck they've had.
I'm still hoping. I still want it to be
Well, of
good,
course I
but
want it to be good. I
I
want
don't
to
know.
go see a bad movie on purpose. I want to see good films. I do.
Clearly,
But
right?
we got to be honest. We got to set the right. It's again, expectations are the doorway to disappointment, right? So we got to
Totally
curb
understand.
it. Like just bring them down based on what we heard, and hopefully maybe they fix it. I don't know. I doubt it, but this looks doomed from the start.
Right.
That said, let's go to something that which I hope is not doomed. And that's DC. Turn gears here. So interesting story here because I don't need your input here because I have no idea about this. But apparently Daniel Craig is coming to DC. We all know some Daniel Craig, a little Knives Out, a little James Bond, of course, and
Sure.
as a director, I'll probably destroy his name, Luca Guadagnino. I don't know, whatever. My apologies, but he just
Listen. If you're butchering the Latino sounding name, we failed as a channel.
I think he's Italian, so that's not the same.
All right, in that case, forget those Italians.
The spaghetti in them. Not joking. They stole pizza, they stole spaghetti. They call it theirs. Get out of here. So they just did a movie together called Queer. He directed Daniel Craig, and that
I just saw the trailer for it.
I heard it's gonna do some good reviews. So they're coming back together, pairing up. Fair enough. Sergeant Rock is a character that this is gonna be playing.
So,
I don't know who the hell is Sergeant Rock.
I'm gonna nerdsplain it to you in the most short, concisest way possible. Okay, Nick Fury?
Sure, obviously.
DC, Nick Fury. They're both World War II characters that were fighting Nazis and kicking ass and doing the whole thing. And the only thing is, Nick Fury, they liked him so much they fast-tracked him into the modern universe, which was the 60s at the time. And like, how do you make Nick Fury still alive during this World War II? Simple. He got the Infinity formula, never age, stay young, whole thing. Sergeant Rock literally dies after World War II. So he's a World War II. Like a little bit after World War II, he goes on some secret missions and then eventually dies, sacrifices himself for the country. So he is very much a World War II like character. So Sergeant Rock, that's his character. And what I liked about it is he doesn't die in World War II. He dies afterwards because he goes on some secret missions with some leftover super scientists villains you got to stop and that kind of thing. But all his adventures are World War II pulp adjacent. That's Sergeant Rock in a nutshell.
Does he have any powers, or he's just
No, regular guy, like old school Nick Fury, just a dude with a machine gun and a tactile mind and an iron will.
This is an odd choice after hearing that then for a film. Like if you told me Sergeant Rock, he's gonna play him, he's gonna appear in other films, a la Nick Fury, okay. But his own feature movie, as for my understanding, that's weird, no? A character have this character?
I'll tell you what, it makes perfect sense. You want to do Daniel Craig a done in one movie. This is not going to be a trilogy. You done in one.
Well, we don't know what that is, but yeah. They usually sign up for 3 films. That's usually the standard for this.
Right, but I think what's going to happen is they're going to do a done in one, but they're going to establish like 2 characters in the movie that are eternal, larger lifespans, and that will be what Sergeant Rock does. Like to me, what I'm thinking, Wonder Woman. You introduce Wonder Woman in Sergeant Rock.
It's odd because we talk about DC gotta come guns blazing, right? And
clearly,
I don't know if they can mess around with these very obscure characters,
right?
And it could be great, right? No doubt, but it's not gonna bring in the dollars. Let's be honest.
Well, here's what I think, and I'll be very honest with you. I think when you do an obscure character, you don't have to do a $200 million movie.
Sure.
Now, it's the idea of like you make a period piece. World War II, you get $120 million budget, and you can trick people who don't do superhero movies. They're still out there. You trick people who don't do superhero movies to watch it because they think it's a war movie. And in the middle of the war movie, you introduce superhero elements, but they're not the main focus. The main focus is Sergeant Rock. And so that's the way you kind of pivot those two things.
But that's if they may do Sergeant Rock in a current time though as well. It does. It
well,
may
if
not,
they do that, then I got no idea.
Right. If that's the case, it's even weirder. I think it's like okay.
Because you got to remember, Sergeant Rock is to World War II what like Jonah Hex is to the Old West.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So
it can make sense if they do that. But I'm saying if they don't do that, it's just in a modern world and he's just
right. And then
that's weird.
I mean, the only way that works is if you're doing sort of like a Shield version, and you have Sergeant Rock being the guy for that. That's the only other way.
I'm kind of curious to hear more about this. It's an odd choice, right? It could have worked. Anything could work, but it's just an odd choice.
Like I'll be honest with you. When I heard that they were doing the Creature Commandos, which we'll talk about later, when I heard Frank Grillo was going to be Rick Flag Sr., I was like, that's weird. They could have just done Sergeant Rock. Now it understands why they got this other idea for it, you know?
Fair. It's interesting. It's really interesting, and we'll see. It's just a weird choice, but I know, Frank Grillo. He's talking about Superman, how great that's going to be. Of course, what else is he going to say? It sucks. Of course not.
Right.
The trailer is coming this month, though. We talked about that. That's been confirmed. I don't know when this month, but we're already 6-7 days in. I don't know, whatever it is.
It's gonna be Klima.
Yeah, I don't.
On
I think it's a bit before Christmas. I said a lot of big films come out a week before, like you got Mufasa coming out. There's Sonic's another one that's coming out. There's another decent sized movie. So I would assume, that's like the 21st, 22nd, around there, 17th.
Listen. If the movie Nosferatu comes out on Christmas Day, you can drop Superman trailer
anything on Christmas Day. Yeah, of course. But they're not gonna put that in front of Nosferatu. It's who we kidding. You want to put it in front of...
I meant online. Not in front of it. I meant online.
I get it, but that's not going to happen. It's going to be ahead of something big, I guess. I mean, why wouldn't it be? But that's coming soon, man. So I'm excited, man. We're going to get a true glimpse of what we're going to expect to a certain degree out of James Gunn's world, right? Because I'm not sure Creature Commandos is really going to set that stage, which leads us to Creature Commandos, right? That came out, which is technically the first thing from this new DCU, right? Technically speaking.
Sure. Absolutely.
Whether people know about it or not, different conversation. But yeah, there's the first actual property. I would assume it's going to set up something we talked about.
Well, so far, the reviews for the first 2 episodes are in highly positive.
Highly positive. So we're dropping 2 episodes, like 20 some minutes, which is fine. It's an animated show.
Yeah.
James Gunn, he wrote it, but didn't direct it. Oops.
Yeah, he wrote all the episodes, but did not direct it.
So let's...
Even though he makes a guest appearance in the credits.
He puts stuff in the credits. Hey, he did the work, man. He's got to recognize. I can't
and by the way, I didn't even notice this, but shout out to New Rockstars for catching this. Every time they go to James Gunn in the credits, when they circle around his laptop, what's on the monitor is the text for the last scene of the episode you're gonna watch.
Oh, really? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So I was like, that's cool. I didn't even notice that. So that's awesome. So shout out to New Rockstars. You got that. That was great.
Very, I didn't catch. I mean, it was so quick. But look, Creature Commandos come out. I can't say I was excited about the show. I was looking forward to it, but I was like, okay. It looked like Suicide Squad, right? For the most part.
Sure.
Fine. And I love Suicide Squad. The second one, not the...
literally weasels in it.
Not the original Oscar-winning one, of course.
We all can't be that good.
It is what it is. So listen, it dropped 2 episodes. I got to say, it was good. I didn't love it. Cool. The first episode was okay. I thought the second was a lot better. I thought it kind of settled in.
Oh, all right.
And I really liked the second episode more. The humor, the scene at the bathroom, whatever they're at, I thought was gold.
Oh, that was great.
It really was gold.
That was great.
And I love the backstory of the bride. A little
so
depth
good.
to that. Really cool. The second episode was really well done. So I'm glad they dropped 2 episodes. Because the first was okay. The first was fine. With a lot of setup, but the second really.
But the first one is really just a place, like a entry plan. Like, here's everybody.
Of course.
Now we're gonna present you everybody.
Which is why you drop more in one episode at times, because
absolutely.
You need a second one to really get you. Okay, now we know what the show is gonna be about for the most part. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. It was fun. It's James Gunn all over the place, obviously.
Oh yeah, all over the place.
Very mature. Kids need not watch this show.
Nope.
It is what it is.
I literally told my daughter, your brother is not allowed to watch. Like, what about me? I was like, talk to your mom first. But I know for a fact your brother is not allowed to watch. Yeah, you're 15. You kind of find that wiggle room. Depends. We'll see. But yeah,
that one bathroom scene is what it is.
I mean, no. I'm actually okay with the bathroom scene. Okay. I'm talking about the bride and Dr. Frankenstein.
That was even okay. Sure.
That's the one I was like, oh boy,
Okay,
yeah.
fair.
I'm cool with the bathroom scene. That's fine,
Okay.
but that,
Like I said, it's very adult, very adult.
yeah,
Look,
yeah,
it's we've seen a lot of great adult animated shows, but this is not Invincible to that level. It's a great animated show,
no,
nothing like
no,
that. But
no.
it was a solid, a good start. I think this is one where I kind of want to see where this goes, right, and how this is going to play into the world. Yeah, you got Rick Flag Senior, who's going to be in Superman, the live version, Frank
Right,
Grillo.
right,
I liked how they mentioned his son dying in the last Suicide Squad, so it
yeah,
kind of ties
yeah.
everything. I thought it was well done. I enjoyed it. I laughed. It was cool. Not great. I mean, listen, it's not Penguin. It's not
No, but even then, first episode Penguin wasn't
No,
amazing. It was
fair
good.
enough. A show got better and better. But
Right.
compared to animated shows, Harley Quinn's better for me. Anyway, than this.
Right, but Harley Quinn is way funnier. Like, it's irreverent. This was
Correct.
actually trying to tell a
Sure.
story
I mean, just
within the
trying to
confines of the
find
world.
orange,
So,
and just it's hard to compare animated with,
Right.
with live anime.
Sure,
I get it.
sure.
So Harley Quinn's the best comparison, I guess.
and Alan Tudyk is in that one too.
Yeah, he is,
And
yeah.
I just reading a thing where Clayface is going to show up in a series, and he does the voice of Clayface in Harley Quinn, but he's doing the voice of Clayface in this one too.
That's
So, like, look
funny.
at that.
Okay, look at that. And that is a cool character too. And listen, well done. Listen, a good start, right? But again, much like Captain Thunderbolts and MCU, this is going to start in Fantastic Four. This is going to start with Superman. This starts with Superman.
Yeah, this is their Fantastic Four.
Yeah, not even.
Yeah.
The Superman is what starts this universe. Whatever, right?
All right, fine.
Yeah, I mean,
fine.
this may technically start it, but come on, we know it's Superman. That's the one that's gonna make or break. This is not gonna break or break DC, right? It's not. Superman could break or make DC. It's called what it
Yeah,
is.
no, all the pressure.
Right, the impact. But listen, it's a good start. I enjoyed it. So yeah, I good recommend for me.
I'll second a lot of what you said. Animation is great. It's very fluid. It's a lot of fun. Everyone's voice acting is on point. They're very much in the scene. No one's just delivering lines. They are acting it out. Very adult sensibilities all across the board. Great needle drops. That's how you know it's a James Gunn joint where everything's just and it's not. It was a great thing about James Gunn is like, there's needle drops to songs that you heard and needle drop songs you've never heard. And I always like being introduced to really good new music that I've never heard. And so I was, the band that he both episodes they're pretty much scoring the whole thing. I forgot the name of the band, but super fun. I will say standouts to me. I thought The Bride was fantastic.
Great.
Dr. Foster's was really
cool.
fun
Yeah,
too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I loved G.I. Robot. Like,
he was.
are we gonna kill Nazis?
Right, yeah.
Let's kill some Nazis.
The characters are
Time
really.
for some
Yeah,
killing some Nazis.
I'm hoping they do like a bright, kind of telling of the story, backstory for each of those characters for the most part.
Yeah,
I want to see more of that. But yeah, he's cool. And look, the characters are great. They really are. Like I said, it's really good. It's just not. Oh my god, it's not gonna blow you away. Let's not kid ourselves. But it's a really good show. I enjoyed it a lot.
I do think both episodes are fun. I thought the second episode was better because they gave a great backstory to the bride, made her a much more compelling, well-rounded character. 100%. I love the fact that they're introducing us to Frankenstein's monster or Eric Frankenstein. But it is in a way that you never really saw this kind of. Well, if you saw the original Bride of Frankenstein movie, there's core elements of like rejecting Frankenstein wanting to love her, but taken to the most insane degree possible. And I like that, while still introducing that world piecemealed out. I mean, to me, I like it. Was it great? No, but I'm very interested in
I'm
watching
looking forward to it, and I hope the show can build on what it's done already. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's got what's her face on Game of Thrones plays the bride. I forget her name. You got Yennefer from.
Pedro Pascal's sister.
Yes. Or is it sister? Whatever it was. Yennefer from The Witcher plays Cersei in this one. So it's got some names on there. Overall successful. It's a good start. A great start. A good start. Absolute recommend for sure.
Absolutely.
And those are the nuggets. But I do have something we got to do a time here. I wasn't sure we had a little time. What the hell? So it's funny because I was having that conversation a little bit on watch list and then afterwards. But because I watched this documentary on Madden. Right, it's in the game. It's what it's called.
Right.
Of course, they're making the Madden and all that, and it's a big game. And Madden is Madden, right? People know it transcended video games, obviously.
Sure.
So I'm like, man, Mario's the greatest franchise in video game history. If we do Mount Rushmore, Mario's one of them. This is irrefutable.
Absolutely. No
doubt. Madden for me is another one that's irrefutable. It's just the cultural impact that it has. It's been 30 some years.
Absolutely.
Those two are inarguable. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
Those two at the top, leaving two left.
Yes.
What are those two for you, man? Because I can go so many ways to this, and I honestly could not narrow it down, man. To be honest with you,
I already got it, and I'm surprised that's not the first one to mention. It's the IP, the franchise that's related to one of the greatest movie franchises of all time. We're talking Sonic, man. Sonic the Hedgehog is Mount Rushmore. If you look at the amount of game lore expansion, it is you show Sonic the image, people are like, oh, it's the dude from the video game. Sonic is number 3. If Madden and Mario,
was a top 10, I think Sonic could be in there. I don't know if it's Mount Rushmore per se.
I think it's Mount Rushmore.
I mean, like I said, it will have their own criteria, and I get it. When I'm looking at okay, games that were original, right? Like genre defining, right? Madden defined sports games. It's clear.
Right.
Mario defined the platform. Every game
defined speed in games.
But it was a Mario ripoff.
Power play. Walkthrough, it
was a Mario ripoff, right? Which is fine. That's not the bad thing, but
it was. But it also did something that Mario eventually ripped off of Sonic, which was that first-person speed perspective that Sonic did first. Mario did that with N64 when they did Super Mario World on the N64. Is that first-person speed perspective? That's all Mario, and they even borrowed it when they did some Mario Kart was because of Sonic. So they stole off each other. They both pioneered and took. Came out
before Sonic's. I know Sonic did a version of it, so that's Mario Kart was first, right?
No, I'm not talking the karting. Right? Clearly, Mario Kart came out first, but the Mario Kart's big appeal is look how fast you're going, and that was an extension of like what Sonic series introduced in terms of speed. Which
is a case for it. I have to put again that for me, it's close to listen. It's got the other factors, right? It's got the popularity, the longevity. It's again, it transcends
multimedia, big lore. I think it's lore too. Like it's got a massive lore.
It's definitely for me. It's in a conversation.
There was a time in America where Sonic had 2 cartoons out at the same time with 2 different continuities, and no one complained. There was a kid one and an adult one, and they were like, "This is my Sonic."
I'm not hating on it, and again, there's an argument to be made for it, so I get it. I'm not gonna say no way. Sure, I get it. It's not my. I'll put top 10 out if I put it in my. What's another one? I mean, it's so many. Final Fantasy, I guess maybe.
Final Fantasy is more for adults. You lose the kid.
Zelda, maybe.
To me, I'm like the other thing is what's the demo? Because for you to be all time, you gotta hit like kids can play Madden, but kids can also play Mario Kart. Kids can also play Sonic just as much as adults.
I got one. I got one. I did think about this the other day. It was Street Fighter 2.
Street Fighter. That is a Mount Rushmore.
Defining the genre. How many games came out?
Absolutely.
Mortal Kombat, all bit off it. It's still relevant today. It crossed over. We got movies. So I think Street Fighter. People know Cost. People know Ryu, Ken, Chun-Li. That has to be in Mount Rushmore, right? Am I wrong in that? It has to be. Right? It has to be.
Absolutely.
And we got a new one like last year or 2 years ago. So it's still 30 years later.
Listen, there's been multiple anime series based just on Street Fighter.
I'm putting ahead of Mortal Kombat. I like Mortal Kombat more, but that came out first.
But Mortal Kombat came because nobody know Mortal Kombat without Street Fighter.
That's how I feel about Sonic, and to some degrees, like Mario kind of set the stage. But I will put Mortal Kombat top 10 because it has everything else. I mean, Mortal Kombat, same thing like Street Fighter. Everyone knows Mortal Kombat. We just got a movie. We get another movie coming out soon, right? The games are still coming out. People know. Get over here. Come on, we know this Liu Kang, Scorpion.
I get it.
We all know that.
Sure.
But yeah, it's hard. That's a hard list, man. It really is. It's a lot of good franchises, man. But I thought I was like, man, that guy.
And that's the thing too, because there's certain franchises that I would go, oh, this, but I go, no, certain kids can't handle playing this game, so it doesn't count.
My friend was like, he insisted on Call of Duty. I'm like, no. I think it's a great franchise. No. It obviously
great franchise, not
crossover, big, popular, but. It's not original. There's 1,000 first-person games that came before. You can put a GoldenEye ahead of that in terms of just...
Honorable mention for me, Mega Man and Legend of Zelda would be honorable mention.
I totally agree with you. Zelda. I'm not a Zelda guy, but I understand the
Right.
impact.
Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely.
That's definitely one I'm like, yeah, for sure, Zelda's got to be mentioned in somewhere.
Yeah.
If someone says Mount Rushmore, I wouldn't kill him for it.
I thought about it before I hit the Sonic. I was like, "Oh, Zelda's really good." Yeah, because we didn't talk about this at all. So I'm I thought Mega Man 2, and Mega Man's had a lot of reboots. It has had cartoons and the whole thing. So I was like, "Oh, maybe there's something there." But to me, Sonic is what put me over the edge with Sonic was It's had comic books, it's had multiple video games, on multiple platforms, multiple cartoon series. But at the end, it's the fact that it has a successful movie that's what put it over
No,
the edge for me in
like I
terms of
said,
Mount Rushmore.
I get. I can understand whether I
Right.
have it or not. But if you have it, I'm not fighting. I understand that.
It's the multimedia access and quality of the multimedia.
For me, it has to be the genre defining for me. The longevity, the crossover appeal,
Absolutely.
and the popularity.
Right.
Those are the four big food groups.
Right. And Street Fighter, yes, it had a bad movie, but it also had Raul Julia and Jean-Claude Van Damme.
It was big enough to get a movie. Not many video games
but
get that.
It got an amazing anime movie that should have been the movie. Like that was what should have been because it's so good.
There's two that I'm looking a bunch of up that you could argue for. There's two I think have a great case. Grand Theft Auto,
but once again, limit on the demo for me.
But there's a case for it. There's a strong case.
Sure,
it has
case. Definitely top 10.
For sure, that's a strong case for that. And Tetris is the other one.
Tetris.
There's a case for it. I'm not saying it is Mount Rushmore.
Case for it. No, I did agree. Yeah. But I'm respecting the brand.
Define that genre. How many games we get that is Tetris? 1,000. 1,000, right? We still know Tetris. I had a movie about Tetris like in Apple Plus like a year ago. It's actually pretty good, by the way.
Oh, really?
It's actually with the guy from Kingsman. I forgot his name. Edgerton. No. I forgot his name. The main kid from Kingsman. I forget his name. I really do.
Okay.
Elton John movie and all that. So and the Blackbird, great show on Apple Plus. Speaking of which, but yeah, that one is close. Castlevania, no. God of War, not long enough. God of War doesn't have the longevity yet.
Look, I will say Castlevania. There's definite, and it's because first of all, you had the great anime series that was out. I really enjoyed that. It was even featured in Captain Neo. Simon Belmont was featured in that, so I'll give credit that. Tons of multiple games.
Yeah, that was close. It's a top 10 argument. Not Mount Rushmore.
It hasn't had that big pop culture carryover. That's the one thing that holds it back.
Agreed.
Like if you know, but you don't. Like if I showed you Simon Belmont or the cast of Castlevania, most people I don't know what that is.
No, 100% agree.
You have to be in the know to get it, and that's why I limit it.
Absolutely agree with that. Tomb Raider, no. Not Mount Rushmore. Top 20, maybe.
Nope.
You can argue that, I guess.
It had a moment to be top 10, but that moment came and went.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think that's Assassin's Creed. Yeah, right. Halo.
Once again, it had a moment. It had a moment.
No, again, I put Call of Duty ahead of Halo. Not in terms of quality of games that you play, but you look at the overall impact. Right. I mean, people play it, and sports people play it. You hear all the time. It's in pop culture, kind of like a Madden. So more so than Halo did for me. Especially not these days, you still get Call of Duty.
But I will say the Halo.
I'd rather play Halo. Don't get me wrong.
The iconography of Halo is more than Call of Duty. Like when you see that helmet, you're like, oh, I've seen that somewhere.
No, listen, it's top 20.
Iconography.
Yeah, I wouldn't put top 10. I put top 20. Make a case for Halo. You can argue Halo.
I think if you did do Halo, it'd be like a 10. It'd be 10.
There's an argument for that. If I'm just thinking between 10 and 15 is what I'm thinking. Depending. There's a lot of great franchises.
It could hit 11 real easy.
Oh, no, of course. Because I'm sure there's games we don't.
On the cusp.
There's a lot of games I'm sure we're not thinking of. We're just getting is off the cuff, and I'm sure that even that kind of conversation. God, what are some good franchises? And I don't know.
Well, I mean, listen, we're wrapping up. We're getting close to the end of the year. We're going to do our top 10 movies and TVs. We can even try to what we consider the Mount Rushmore video games as well.
TV shows. Number one is Skeleton Crew. We all know that. So let's just.
Clearly, why save us the problem of having to write it down?
2 to 10.
It's a given.
As far as the TV shows.
Kathleen Kennedy, your legacy secure. Please, by all means, leave.
You have reached the Mount Rushmore because of Skeleton. She's in Mount Rushmore now, as far as I'm concerned, because of Skeleton Crew. That's how good the show is.
She is in Mount Rushmore. She's the mountain.
She's all the more faces of Kathleen Kennedy when she was a little younger, a little older, little more seasoned.
You can go now.
She got it. She did it. But all that said, we'll definitely do a show and all that. But that was I thought it was cool because now you're a gamer as well, so I was like, man, that's interesting. Food for thought with that one, because that's a tough one. Like, what is? What should be there? People should comment. What is a top franchise? I want to know.
Absolutely. And by the way, guys, I do have some news to release as well. December 11th, ASAP Imagination Publishing is putting out Danger Squad digital for all to buy, $4.99. Pretty excited about that. It's the Kickstarter led to this, and I'm so excited about some other stuff we got out there. So if you did not get to participate in the Kickstarter because you're like, I don't know if it's gonna hit its goal, I really want to read it. If it doesn't, well, guess what? Now you can buy it. It's a great gift to anyone who is a comic book nerd or a kid and likes spooky mysteries or fun adventures or funny books altogether. Danger Squad. You can go to NE1, Nancy Echo 1 Publishing. It's part of ASAP Imagination, nice. And they will have the book there. Sorry, December 11th. We'll have links and stuff coming up for you soon. But I just want to let you guys know as well. Great Christmas.
I got a feeling that's going to be my Rushmore of comic books.
I mean, clearly, I don't want to brag. It's Skeleton Crew, Danger Squad, right there, guys.
You put in the Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, you put in Spider-Man, and you put in Danger Squad.
Spider-Man, clearly, and then Danger Squad right there. It's right. I mean, we all know why make it weird. Why make it weird?
The movie's coming out eventually. That's now we're talking.
That's right. You saw it here first, literally.
It's the genesis of the next great IP.
Boom, boom.
Developed right here on Nerdsplaining. Just want to throw it out there.
That's it.
But with all that said, those are the nuggets for the week.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate all the love and support you always give us. Don't forget to keep going here on YouTube at the Latin Nerd Network. You can watch shows such as Nerdsplaining and watch this and Thanos the Choice and more shows as well. Don't forget to go to DangerSquad.com, DANGER squad.com. Check it out. Find out more about the book. Whatever you do, don't go looking for mysteries there because there is, but you don't want to go and suck too deep. So I'm warning you, don't go looking for clues. Don't get sucked into the mystery. Don't have fun on DangerSquad.com. Don't forget to also go to ericdasilva.com, EricDasilva. Check out all the original audio episodes there live, including my album, Adorably Offensive, which is a great Christmas gift to get to the adults after you buy your nerd adult or kid nerd, your Danger Squad comic, all on ASAP Imagination as well. Guys, I've been Eric Da Silva. This has been Jose Romero. We have been Nerdsplaining. And if you don't know, now you know. Boom.